Hey everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Tim and Jim paging the Tim and Jim show. Jim Fuse is paging Jim. Jim Fuse is not here today, but Russ Hedge, our amazing guest, is here. Hello, Russ Hedge.
Hello. How are you, Mr. Tim Stone? Flying solo this morning.
How are you today?
I am good. I'm trying to get my hey on because I noticed in the intro I only make like a little thing at the end video. So I'm trying to do something so next time they edit it, they'll think we want to put Russ right in there at the beginning.
Yes, I love how you're being proactive. You're getting yourself right in there. You're even in the comments before the show. You're saying, "Woohoo, let's do this."
That's amazing.
Good morning, friends. You're here. You're in the comments. You're everywhere. You're here.
Well, there you go.
But hey, everyone. Yeah.
I can see that my sidekick, who's amazing, has jumped in and is helping me at this point. I did start off with the woohoo, but then I think she took it from there. Anyway, no, I'm just blessed to be with you, and it's a bummer Jim can't be here. Jim is a good friend also. I was remembering back the first time we met was on the Tim and Jim show, the first time I appeared. That's right. And you almost didn't make it, but you did.
Yes. We were just having a conversation before the show. It was about 6 minutes before the show. I sent a message to Russ. I said, Russ, paging Russ Hedge, paging. I didn't quite say it like that, but I'm so happy you're here, Russ, and everyone who's tuning in, whether you're live or on the replay. We so appreciate you being here. I'm Tim Stone here, hanging out in the woods. I have a little different setup here. I'm kind of in between setups. You might be able to tell, Russ, I'm kind of part green screen, part reality over here. I'm working on my setup, and I'm in between reality and not. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Experience Backstage. I just came off our show, The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And before that, we have the Experience Backstage with our good friend Shree out of Houston. And but on the backstage one, we're always moving around prepping. It's not the same. And we're getting ready on Instagram. It's a lot of fun. And you get to see a little bit of the, like you know, whether you have false backgrounds or whatever. But this is a real background. This is really behind me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Russ Hedge, we're so excited to have you here. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. I'm sure Jim is excited too, wherever he is. But Russ Hedge, today we're going to be talking about community building and customer conversion. But before we do that, tell everyone who is Russ Hedge anyway? I'm sure everybody's dying to know. I mean, most people probably know who you are already. Most people. But for that one person who doesn't know,
let me tell you.
Who are you?
Yeah, let me tell you. I am a person who loves people, and I love to connect and build community. That's what I'm all about. But my purpose or my why in life is to inspire and encourage you to live a purpose-driven life of significance. That's what I love to do, encourage people, inspire them. What do I mean by a purpose-driven life of significance? I want you to be a world changer. I want you to be a difference maker. I want you to do the amazing things God has created you to do. And that's what I'm all about. Everything that I do lines up with that. Everything that I move forward in coaching on marketing. I'm a marketing coach. I am a keynote speaker. I'm a live streamer, a live stream producer. But all of what I do lines up with my purpose of inspiring and encouraging you. And how do I do that? A lot of times through live streaming is bringing on amazing people like Tim, and bringing on people that add real value to your life. I do things like giving you education and ideas on how to be more purposeful and effective in your life, and how to successfully transform your business by connection and community building. So that's what I'm all about. And you can always, I like to put this out there right off the bat, you can always connect with me at russhedge.com. That's russhedge.com. And the reason I say that over and over is because that is the single link that you can access everything, whether it is my social media, my Instagram, my whatever. Also, my email, my calendar. You can schedule time with me and connect, and we can build community together. So that's what I'm all about. That's why I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you, Russ. And I so appreciate you being here. Have always been so supportive. You're such a wonderful friend. And you're always texting me every morning saying, have a blessed day, praying for you, and always showing up in the comments of shows and just being a wonderful friend and supporter. So thank you for being here today. And Veronica Jeans is here. She's saying, Russ, you are awesome. I have to agree with that,
Thanks,
Russ.
Veronica. Thanks, Veronica. And Tim, ditto on everything you said. You bless me. I am better person because you're my friend. Thank you.
Don't make me break out the puffs, Russ. I got the puffs just in case. They're here. Shannon is here. Ever is here. Shout out
Woo,
to Ever.
Ever.
She's saying #purpose. Yes,
Shocking that Ever is here.
yes. Very shocking.
Hi, Shannon.
Shannon is here. She's saying amen. I had a great conversation with Shannon the other day. It was really great. And she
She's
has an
awesome.
incredible nonprofit that helps the homeless in Baltimore.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
speaking of purpose, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Chris Hennessy is here saying,
Hey,
hey,
Chris.
hey, thank you for being here at Chris. Katie Simpson is here. She is saying on LinkedIn, it's just
Katie,
showing
all
your front
right.
page. Well, we're also on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. So maybe try one of those other places. That LinkedIn sometimes is a little wonky. The Wonky Don. Have you ever read the Wonky Donkey, Russ? That book?
The Wonky Donkey. No, I cannot say that I have.
Well, I recommend it. All right. Well, Russ Hedge, we're going to dive into the conversation. Today, we're going to talk about community building and customer conversion.
Right.
So, Russ Hedge, are you ready for the first question? Are you ready? Ready for this?
Oh, I am ready. Let's do it. Bring it on. Come on.
Ready. All right. Russ Hedge, why is building a community, which you're so good at? You are like the king of building community. Why is it important for business?
Well, I want to tell you that connection and community building is really the foundation of life, I believe. It's really it's definitely the foundation of business and your marketing, because without community, everybody's talking about, oh, I want referrals, I want people that, are going to naturally come to my business. Well, you're not going to have that if you are not building community. Yes, it's important to put out a good product or service and do all that with your business, but building community brings lasting fans that are your raving fans. A good friend of mine, who is one of our sponsors, Laura Gelot of the Gelot Home team, always talks about raving fans. And it is so true. You want to build community of people that really know, like, and trust you. And those are the kind of people that you can collaborate with, that you can do life with, that you can do business with. And so I think community is at the foundation of all of that, Tim. And, besides that, it's really a lot of fun. I am so blessed by others. I am so blessed by the community that I'm building. And it's really turned into, especially on LinkedIn, which is a really good community building spot. There's a
Yes.
lot of good community building spots. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it in person. I love other social media, but LinkedIn is kind of like compound interest I was talking about this morning. When you really start building community and you really start organically reaching out to people, it starts to compound on itself. Next thing you know, you go from two people asking to be your connection friends to 10 to 20, and it just starts building. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. And I know there's a lot of good people here in the comments that are very good at it as well.
Yes. Yes, there are lots of good people who are good at it. Katie Simpson is here. She says, where can we
Hi,
find
Katie.
you, Russ?
Yes, russhedge.com, or you can just
Yes.
drive to Salem.
Yes, we'll track you down, Russ. We need to do that. Let's all track down Russ Hedge in person. Also,
Well,
Gabe.
what's funny
Yes.
about that? You bring that up. Here, I'm going to take you off track here. David Alto, who is one of our guests this morning on The Experience, he's actually driving into Salem next week, and we're getting together, Scott and David and I. Emily Harmon came into Portland a couple of weeks ago. Scott and I drove up there, and we were together with Emily. There's a lot of people coming through. I think Cammie might be coming through. And, when you build community, Tim, and you start to grow, people then reach out and say, hey, I'm actually going to be in your area in person. Let's get together. And that's always amazing.
That is definitely amazing. That's definitely amazing. So everyone, we are here on the Tim and Jim show. We are missing Jim Fuse today. Let's show Jim love in the comments, even though he's not here. Tag Jim Fuse. Say, Jim Fuse, we miss you. Where are you? Uh, yeah, definitely show him love.
Miss you, Jim.
Yes, definitely. And as we go through the conversation here, let us know if you have any questions for Russ and I. So Russ, what are some tips? We're talking about building community. What are some tips on how we can go about building a community? So since you're such a pro at this, I mean, look at all these people that are showing up to support you today. Why is this happening?
Well, I want to start by saying I got good advice from my good friend D. Scott Smith, who's my co-host on The Experience years ago. That was, he was telling me that really the only barrier to entry in business and all that you're doing is your willingness to step forward and take action and do it. And I really took that to heart. I was always a good community builder, but I even took it to heart and took another step, and that is really reaching out individually to people beyond just the casual contact. So the tip of the day is if you're together in a video Zoom chat, if you're together, like we get on the global tea break, okay? Tim, I don't know. I think you've been on that before. The global tea break is an international group that's amazing. Meets the third Friday of every month. You're all invited. The third Friday
Awesome.
of every month, and it is at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The reason I bring that up is initially when I started, I got on that right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
And so what I would do is go in to this virtual room just like I would do in a physical room. And because I couldn't then take people to personal coffee because of COVID, I started doing it uh, virtual coffee basically. And so my tip of the day is take it from a group setting, which is a great place to meet people and get out there and then connect individually. So send out a link and say, hey, let's chat, make it easy for people. I have a super easy connection link on my website, which did I tell you is russhedge.com. So you can actually go to russhedge.com/contact, which I know will magically show up in the comments here as I'm saying it. And you can actually click on that and schedule time on my calendar. There it is. And so what that does is it makes it simple to build community. So take it from group setting to individual, either personal coffee or lunch or virtual, wherever you're located, and make it easy for people to connect with you. That is your 1, 2, 3 simple way to build community.
I love that, Russ Hedge. I love that. I'm a firm believer in that as well. Taking that group idea and then stalking people, and then you go one-on-one with them and then go from there. But seriously,
well, that's how you and I met.
Those one-on-one relationships. Yes.
Yeah, that's how you and I met. I mean, we met on the Tim and Jim show, and I said, man, we got to get together individually. We got together. Next thing you know, we are awesome friends. And we have yet to be in the same room, which will happen.
It
But,
will.
but being in the same virtual room, Scott proved it years ago when he gave a keynote in Dublin, Ireland, when he first met Alan Hennessy. His keynote was on how you can build real, true connections and good friendships, even virtually, because I can look at you, I can talk directly to you, I can virtually be in the same room with you. And so, yeah, that's great. It's a great way to do it.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that tip. So thank you everyone who is tuning in. We see you all here in the comments. John Buglino is here. Welcome, John. Gabe says he loves stalking Tim Sohn. Well, thank you. I appreciate your stalkingness. That is very kind
Gabe
of you.
stalks everybody. He's good at that.
He does. He's a professional stalker. Yes. Whitney Koch is here. She says, morning, joining a bit late. Hello to John Buglino, Shannon Epps, Russ Hedge, and Tim Sohn. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. We appreciate you. Let us know where you are tuning in from around the world. And let us know, are you Team Tea or are you Team Coffee? We want to know that. Russ Hedge, what are you?
So say that one more time because I actually missed part of that question.
Russ Hedge, are you Team Tea or Team Coffee or Team some other beverage?
Well, I'm definitely Team Coffee. Yeah, when you first said Team Tea, I missed that part, but I'm definitely Team Coffee. I love Coffee. Coffee meetings are my go-to. And I can
Ooh,
tell you when we were before COVID, when I was marketing to people, if you want to make quick friends, show
yes.
up at their office with coffee. Come on.
Ooh,
There you go.
pro tip, bring the coffee.
Bring the coffee.
There you go. I love it. I
Tea might
love it.
work, but
You guys are getting so much value here. You're getting so many tips from Russ Hedge. Bring the coffee, stalk people one-on-one after group settings. So much value.
Can I
Uh,
jump on that real quick too? Because
yeah,
I see that I magically put a comment in there. My
magical. You are very magical, Russ. Yes.
blessed by Ever, my wonderful teammate and assistant helping me, but she put in the but first coffee, which is my LinkedIn newsletter. If you're not part of that, please subscribe. The reason is it talks all about morning routine and how to get your day started right. And of course, but first coffee, gotta get that coffee
Ah, I
in
got
the
the
morning.
theme in there.
I would say could say, but first Jesus, then coffee. But that will go beyond that. But coffee is definitely the first thing I want to drink. For there you go.
I love it. I love it. So Russ, so you're doing so many things with live streaming now. You host shows, you produce shows, you're always online. I can't escape you, but that's a good thing. Um, I'm curious, how can we use live streaming to convert community members into customers? I mean, you have so many shows. How many shows do you have now?
So I'm live streaming five times a week personally, and I produce two shows
Okay,
currently, and growing on that. By the way, if anybody's interested in producing, Tim is amazing. By the way, and
thank
if
you.
Tim isn't available, I'm his backup. So there you go.
There you go.
But
I
but
agree.
anyway,
I do
yeah,
agree
there you
with
go.
that.
We're a team. We're a team, right? Um, but
Yes.
no, I think that live streaming has been phenomenal. The reason that I really enjoyed doing that, and the reason I do it personally 5 times a week, besides helping others, is because I found it as a great community building tool, a great connection tool with others. Because who doesn't really want to be on a live stream? Well, some people might know, and most people do. And who doesn't really want to make new friends, right? So the majority of people are in that camp. They want to make new friends, they want to make new connections, and they love the chance to be able to put themselves and their business out there. So what ends up happening is as you do the live streaming, to your question, Tim, you're learning more about the people, right? You're learning more. You're growing in your connection with that person. As you learn more about them, suddenly they say to you, "Man, I wish I could live stream because I really have thought about doing it." And then you say, "Hey, I would love to help you." And as you develop this relationship, you learn areas where you can be a blessing and help other people. And that is how you convert people into paying customers by caring about them. John Maxwell says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you really care about them and you're really building community and you're really trying to be friends, you find that there's opportunities where you can work with them. And I had a reverse opportunity the other day with somebody who instead of them trying to sell me on all the things they were doing, we really worked on building a friendship and getting together. And he started telling me more about what he was doing. And I said, that's really something that I could probably use help with. And next thing you know, I may be a customer of his. So it goes both ways. When you need somebody, they're there to help you. And when they need somebody, you're there to help them.
I love that. It's this idea of service, and really instead of, I mean, you're still selling, right? You're
Sure.
building relationships,
Right.
but it's kind of the idea of service instead of like salesy weirdo mentality, right?
Well, yeah, because I mean, first of all, to everybody who's listening, the number one turnoff that most people have is when you say, "Hey, let's connect," and they reply with a 5-page sales pitch. Because that's
Yes,
not connecting. That's not connecting. That's selling, and that's like a car salesman. Okay, so just
exactly.
FYI for all those that are doing that, yeah, stop, stop. Because
Definitely.
I mean, the one sale you get turns off 10 more. So if you want to build community, it's not a good way to do it. Number two is, a lot of us, and I'll be the first to admit this, my authentic, vulnerable moment. Are you ready?
Ready?
I have this limiting belief or this ceiling around money, which is weird for somebody who's been in sales and marketing and who's really, I'm good at it. I am good. I'm confident that I'm good at what I do, but I have this glass ceiling or this limiting belief around money because I want to help people. I want to throw things out there and give them assistance and bless them, but I don't always charge for it. And there comes a point where it's good to help people. It's good to give. I'm all for that. Number one, but you've got to make money in your business. And there's nothing wrong with you making money in your business. One person I'm working with, when I initially was helping them, I really wanted to bless them and they had blessed me. So I was really helping them. And I still do certain things for them that I would normally charge for that I help with. But I said, as far as this service that I'm doing, I have to come to a point where I actually charge you for it because it takes a lot of time. I have to pay team members that are helping with that as well. And there's things that are going on. So it takes money. And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's just like it was a natural process, right? It's a
Yeah.
natural process when you already have developed that connection and friendship. It makes it easy to move on from there.
Yes, absolutely. And I have those same issues, those same financial issues around charging people, right? When you have a big heart and you want to help people, but at the same time you need to support your family, you need to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
It's important to be able to do that.
Well, and with live streaming from the get-go, for those people that don't know, and Tim, you know, by the way, great information about supporting you're showing up for cancer. That's a great idea. I don't know where that came from, but I want everybody to know that I initially started monetizing my live streaming because it took a lot of effort and it took a lot of time and I had to make money from it. And I was able to do that pretty quickly. Actually, I was able to do it immediately because I stepped forward and I just did it. But and there's a whole if you want more information on that, go to russhedge.com and connect with me. Be glad to talk with you about it. But the whole thing was I did not have a problem initially with that process, but I do have a point where I get to that I always stops me. And so that's what I continually to work on. I continue to work on what I have that's a value for others. And, you know, it's okay. It's okay to be in business. It's okay to make money. Money is not evil. The love of money is the root of all evil, but not, you know, so if that's your focus, like the car salesman on LinkedIn that's sending you the 5-page thing on his first connection, if that's your focus, that is not good. But actually making money in your business, there's nothing wrong with that. So you need to get out there and move forward because you can't help others. I told people this. I can't help you. I can't bless you unless I actually make a living because I won't be able to do this anymore. So you got to make some money. That's the reality.
Definitely true. So Russ Hedge, we talked about live streaming. We've talked about building community. I'm curious in terms of, right, we're getting back into the real world, seeing people in person. What tips can you give us in terms of connecting with people in real life again? I know I see you with lots of selfies, your Russ selfies in person. I love that. I haven't done so much of that yet. But I'm curious, what tips can you give us in terms of getting back out there again and connecting with people in real life and for our businesses too?
Well, I think people need to go where they're comfortable, right? I mean, as we get back out
Of
there, some
course.
people are more comfortable than others. I've always been pretty comfortable with the whole process. I needed community, and so that's why I immediately jumped online when COVID happened because I am a hugger and a people person, and it was hard for people like me when COVID happened. So as soon as I could get back out there, I did. And the whole thing is to just do it. I mean, that would be my first advice. Anything you're doing in life, you got to start, you got to do it. So you got to come to the place where you feel like it's time to get back out there. And if there's not groups you're involved in that are meeting again, find new ones, find new people, intentionally connect with people, right? I go to actual coffee. I love coffee shops and I know the owners, I know the people that visit there. I walk in, it's like a family in the coffee shop, right? And so I love that. And I invite people to coffee all the time. That's a great place to connect. Also, it's not really expensive. So that's just a tip for people. If you want something that doesn't cost you a ton, but it's an easy way to connect and people love that, it's coffee shops, right? So that's what I do. I do that, but I'm also involved in chambers. I'm involved in different networking groups. And when people invite me, I always visit, right? I always visit. I think this is a good
Yeah.
opportunity to get out there and visit. And normally on Wednesdays, after I do the experience during this time, in fact, it starts in about 3 minutes. I go to a town just adjacent to Salem, and I go to their chamber, and I do that in between that and the experience mastermind that we have at 10:30. So yeah, I mean, basically, it's just to really get out there. And another thing you can do, everybody, if you're online, when you find people locally online too, is to reach out to them and say, hey, let's do coffee. Hey, let's do lunch. Or when you're in town, like I said, David Alto's coming through town next week. We're getting together, Scott and he and I. And so it's just a matter of really intentionally connecting with people.
I love that idea. Intentionally connecting with people.
Yeah. Yep,
Mic drop.
that's true.
Mic drop. Guys, drop the mics in the chat. Is there should be a emoji, a mic drop emoji.
Where's Usama? Somebody do a shout out
I
to Usama.
know.
Where is he doing
Paging
mic drops? Come
Osama.
on. Come on. Somebody shout out to Osama. Get him here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, and Ever and I are going to have coffee in Manila at some point. She just put that in the comments. Yes, that will happen.
I love that, Russ Hedge. Oh my gosh. So many great tips this morning. And thank you all. We're here. We're just about to wrap up our conversation here with Russ Hedge. I can't believe it, Russ. It feels like we just started, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
It does. Yeah.
Stefan Kaplan is here. My B fam, brother from another mother. He says, well put, Russ. Loving money is the problem, but the need to make it. The OJ's classic is now in my head, and that's a good thing and a reminder.
Yep.
Thanks for being here, Stefan. Shannon says, that's so good for someone to say, Russ. Sometimes people make you feel bad when you were running a business. We have to have income to live so we can continue to help people.
That's right.
That's such a good point. And John says, thanks for being here, John. Something little like a cup of coffee will go a long way. That's so true. So true.
Well, if you love to give out there and you can see people in person, just like we're talking about that other thing that I mentioned before, if you call on people with your business, take them a cup of coffee. I mean, they
Yes.
are instantly your friend. When I had a new office one time that I went to, the entire office was lined up at the front desk when I showed up with coffee. And they were all my friends right off the bat. It gives you time to spend time with people too. You give them a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, but the concept, they want to chat with you. They want to talk with you. You're not in there trying to sell them. You're in there trying to get to know them. You care about them. You give them something. Come on. And if you don't want to take coffee, take chocolate. That's the other thing. Take chocolate.
Coffee or chocolate? I'm
There you
taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Yes. Write that
Well, Russ
down.
Hedge, I'm so grateful that we had this time together on the Tim and Jim show. Is there anything else before we go that you want to say? I want to put your ways to connect with you here again on the screen. But anything else you want to say before we bid adieu?
Okay, well, Usama's here, so he can do a mic drop. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yes.
The number one thing, Usama, are you ready? Okay. The number one thing that I want everybody to remember is that connection and community building is the foundation to life. You need the foundation of purpose and the foundation of community to move forward. You need people and purpose, right? People and purpose to move forward and make things happen, whatever that is, whether that's in your personal life or your business. So today, reach out to others. Some people are not good at that. It doesn't mean they don't want to be friends with you. They don't want to connect with you. They're just not, that's not their forte. So if you can do that, step forward and reach out to others. It will make a difference in their lives. And you know what? That is why I'm here, to make a difference in your life. I want to inspire and encourage you to live a purpose-driven life of significance. I want you to be a world changer. I want you to be a difference maker. I want you to do the things that God has gifted you to do and created you to do. So go to russhedge.com/contact. My information is all over the place in the comments, russhedge.com/contact, and you can schedule time directly on my calendar if we have not met and not connected. If we have, and you just want to do it to say hi to me again, please do, because I love talking to people. So thanks so much, Tim, for having me. I really appreciate you and your friendship. You're an amazing, amazing friend.
Thank you, Russ Hedge. Thank you. I've really enjoyed our time together today, as I always do. And thank everyone here for tuning in to another edition of the Tim and Jim. Paging Jim, where are you?
Shout out to Jim. Shout out to
Yes,
Jim.
shout out
That's
to
how we
Jim.
met. Shout out to Jim.
That is how we met. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Tim and Jim Show. But for now, we're going to go out the same way that we came in. Everybody, let's dance.